Well, what's up, my friend? Today we're going to talk a little bit about sales and debunking some of the biggest sales myths that you probably heard and may even believe that are keeping you from reaching your true potential as an entrepreneur or salesperson. So let's get started. Okay, so myth number one, a good salesperson can sell anything to anyone. Well, this is patently absurd, but we've all heard the old sayings, I could sell ice to an Eskimo or some such garbage like that. And the idea for a young salesperson or a young entrepreneur is that, oh, for me to be good at sales, I have to be able to sell literally anything to anyone, any time, day or night. As I said, it's patently absurd. In fact, there are only 3 reasons why someone won't buy from you. And I know that you've probably been told that there are these 80 different reasons why, and here's the objections to overcome each one of them. And I've never understood why we have to overcomplicate things. Why do we have to make things more difficult than they really are? There are only 3 reasons why, just 3. Number one is that they legitimately don't want what you've got. So you've done a good job of explaining the benefits, the pros and cons of demonstrating the product or the service. And at the end of the day, they understand it completely and they just don't want it. So you've got a bad message to market match if that's the case, and there's nothing that you can really do about that. In fact, to try and sell into that is doing a disservice to you and to the other person. It's only going to spread bad blood, blah, blah. It's only going to spread bad blood. And at the end of the day, even if that person does buy from you, they're not going to have enjoyed the process and they're not going to like the result that they're going to get. And the second reason that someone won't buy from you is that they're scared of you. They are afraid that you will hurt them. Another way to say that is they don't trust you. And if you haven't done anything at all to build that trust, to build that authority and that likability before they come to you or before you approach them about a sale, then you're going to be fighting an uphill battle all the time. You see this in cold calling a lot, where people are just banging phones trying to make connections. See, we don't really buy stuff. We buy results. We buy people. We, at the end of the day, buy the emotion attached to whatever the result is that we're looking for. People have to know, like, and trust you in order to feel comfortable buying from you. And if they don't have that yet, they're not going to buy, no matter how much arm twisting, no matter how much pressure you apply to them. And like I said, if on the off chance you do manage to get them to buy from you, they're not going to enjoy it. They're probably going to refund, and they're certainly not going to send their friends and family to you because there's been no relationship established there. The third reason that people will not buy from you is because they don't trust themselves. And you see this a lot. If your product or your service requires that the client or the customer do something, then there's a good chance that they aren't buying because they feel like they are inadequate in some way. And we have to overcome that as a byproduct of our selling in order to truly move them from a prospect into a buyer. All right, number 2 myth debunked about selling is that there is some secret formula or process out there that you are not yet aware of, that if you only knew the secret, that somehow you'd be this phenomenal salesperson. While it is true that there are frameworks that one can use in order to sell better, what you are selling, who you're selling to, and when you're selling it to them varies greatly from product to product, from person to person, from time period to time period. And it's foolish to think that there is a one-size-fits-all framework out there that anybody can use in order to sell repeatedly. Now, I have lots of sales frameworks and processes in place that I use, but I always custom tailor the message to exactly the person that I'm trying to attract or trying to sell at exactly the time that I'm trying to sell them. You see a lot of stuff right now, for example, during this filming about coronavirus, because that's a big deal right now. And so you see everybody kind of custom tailoring their message to that. It's because that's at the forefront of everybody's mind. A good rule of thumb is that whenever you're selling, try to enter the conversation that they are already having in their own minds. So if they're already thinking about coronavirus, probably a good idea for you to start bringing up a little bit about it and how it's affecting them and how your product or service can help or support or mitigate some sort of problem or pain that they're having. Number 3 myth is that selling has to be confrontational. A lot of salespeople look at selling as a war because you got a guy on the lot and he doesn't want to buy, and you're going to sell him a car come hell or high water. No matter what, he's not leaving here without buying a car from you. And there is this battle going on between the two of you, and only one guy's going to come out the winner, and it's got to be you. This is absolute buffoonery. I don't have any idea. In fact, let's take the car dealership for an example. There's an old saying, "Oh, if he leaves, he's never coming back." Well, that's ridiculous. Statistically, that doesn't even hold water. Fact is that if we look at any statistics based on how people buy cars, is that they typically go to 3 to 4 dealerships before they make a decision, and they tend to go back to the one where they felt like they were treated the best. See, if you want to create a truly long-standing sales relationship with people, and you should always be selling to people that you have the opportunity to sell more to in the future. One-off selling is an absolutely terrible business to be in. We want to be in the cultivating of the relationship business. And as I said before, that starts before they ever come to you asking to buy your product. And I do hope that that's what's happening with you. I hope that you're not having to go out and solicit business and drag people back in to close them. I hope that you're able to do some things that get people coming to you and helping you to close better. If you need some help with this, by the way, I actually have a webinar that I did. I just thought of this. I have a webinar that I did that I think will really help you. Go to morefromjason.com, and I'll teach you my entire 4D branding strategy. That's the strategy that I use on social media and on places like YouTube to cultivate a relationship, to build trust and authority with my potential buyers, and then I just wait for them to come to me. And it's amazing. They just come in droves over and over again. And so all I have to do is come here and really demonstrate to you that I know what I'm talking about and that I can actually help you to get you to take that next step and come and talk to me about a potential product. Now, maybe you won't, but lots of people do. And so if you want to check that out, just go to morefromjason.com. But my point is this: the selling process should feel effortless. Have you ever been in, let's take life insurance, for example, because this is a pretty good one. A lot of guys who make really great careers in sales do so out of the life insurance business. And if you are lucky enough to have to go, or if you're smart enough to go buy life insurance, I guess, one of the things that you're going to notice is when you sit down with them, they're going to ask you a bunch of questions. They're going to try and find out what your health concerns are and what your life is like and what you're going to need for the future. And if you die, what are you going to need if you die? And then there's a question of you do term life or whole life. So there's lots of questions and lots of education that has to happen throughout that selling process. And by the time you get done, what you should feel like is you should feel as though it was a partnership. Like you worked together to find the best solution for you, and when you walk away, you feel like you got real value and that the person who sold you on the product, the particular product that you got, had your best interest at heart. If you want a good way to think about this, think about it like a doctor. We are in the prescription writing business. See, a lot of sales folks, they walk in and they try and figure out, okay, what is it? What's this guy's pain points? And okay, how do I dovetail my product into his pain points? And how do I try and sell him on it? And then if he says no, let me try and strong arm him and let me use a bunch of tactics to try and overcome all of his objections so I can paint him in a corner and then he doesn't have a choice but to buy from me. It's confrontational. It's very uncomfortable. But you don't ever feel that way when you walk into your doctor's office, or you shouldn't. What's the doc do? He comes in, says, "What's going on with you today? What's the problem? Tell me what's going on." And then you give him all the problems that you're having. He says, "Well, are you having this problem?" Then he asks you a string of questions, doesn't he? So first he asks you to explain what your issue is. Then he asks you a bunch of follow-up questions in order to eliminate, exclude, or include certain potential causes of your problem. And then what does he do at the end? He provides a diagnosis and a prescription. He says, based on what you've told me, here's what I think the problem is, and here's how you fix it, XYZ. Now, very rarely would you ever come back to your doctor and say, "Doc, I really don't like that. That's not a very good solution. I don't think so." And then the doctor says, "Well, okay, well, let me give you a different solution." Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it? No, you told me what the problem is. I've correctly diagnosed it. I've given you the proper prescription. Now you can either take that or not take it. That's the way the sales process should be for you. You should be in the prescription writing business. And the last one, number 4, we're going to talk a little bit about the misconception that salespeople are fundamentally and primarily concerned about money. Well, That's partly true. Every good salesperson, every good entrepreneur wants to get paid. They want to be rewarded for their time, effort, and energy. But the really good salespeople, the ones who are able to do it over and over again, the entrepreneurs that are able to build huge businesses, understand that satisfying the client is the most important thing. Now, for a person who is primarily concerned with money, he doesn't get that, because he will do whatever is required to get that person to buy right then and there, even if it's underhanded or nefarious. Whereas a true salesperson, a true entrepreneur who's building a long-standing business, who wants to be in the industry for a long time, isn't going to operate like that. They're going to look at it and say, what is this person's problem? What is this business's problem? How can my product or service solve that? And if it can't, then you tell them it can't. You say, listen, I'm not the guy for you, or this isn't the product for you. It can't solve the problems that you're having. And I got to tell you, even though that guy goes away, he's going to respect you. He's going to respect your company because you were upfront with him and said, basically, listen, I can't help you with this. In fact, let me refer you to somebody who would be a better choice, who really can help you with this. I do it all the time. There's lots of stuff I don't know how to do. I'm really good at a couple of things. Really good at branding, really good at marketing, pretty doggone good at advertising, and I've done a pretty good job of building a couple of 7-figure businesses. Other than that, don't come to me for your health or fitness. Don't come to me for diet advice. Certainly don't come to me for relationship advice. See, my point is this. Good salespeople are concerned primarily with making sure that their customers are satisfied with the process and with the result. So those are the 4 things. I hope that was helpful to you. Again, please download, subscribe, like and share. Don't download. Just like it and share it. Hit the little bell next to the icon there so you know that you can be notified every time I put out one of these videos. And if you got any requests on stuff you want me to talk about, feel free to leave that in the comments. Would love to hear what you have to say. And if you've got another one that you think, other than the 4 I brought out here that are really important in terms of dispelling the myths about sales, then please leave that below too. I'd love to hear from you.